All right, I'll remind everybody again for the next, until the market opens tomorrow, um, and I may even extend it one more day. I'm going to give everybody a $25 discount on your first month subscription for a premium um, SMT newsletter. Just I'll put the details in the description below. Just create a subscription and I'll rebate $25 back to your credit card. So here, a couple mistakes many novice and even intermediate traders make. They buy too late. So after a trend is already very mature and stretched far above the moving average, that's when most people want to buy. And then they get caught in the intermediate decline, or they get caught in a very frustrating sideways grind. Or if trend goes on for a long time, then they become convinced that there's no downside to the trend, and then they get caught on the slope of hope, holding, and they end up getting dragged down into an intermediate decline, and then they sell at the bottom. So I've seen this happen over and over. So when a market is starting to break out and potentially about to begin a strong trending phase, this is actually when I should get the most new subscriptions is at that point, and then those people that are new to the newsletter, they would be positioned to ride a trend. Is that what happens? No, of course not. I get the most subscriptions, new subscriptions, up here at the top after the trend has already run for 4 months, and then what happens on the way down? The people that get caught and they hold all the way down. This is where they're canceling their subscriptions. What should they be doing? This is where you should be buying a subscription, because the bottom is coming. So people do the exact opposite of what they should be doing. So I'm giving you a discount right now, because this is a time where you should be buying a subscription and then getting into a trend early. Now, I've just used the chart of Bitcoin here as an example. Something similar in energy, although not exactly the same. But you can see we had the rally out of this intermediate cycle low, and then we had this big, huge spike. That's generally a sign of emotional trading, and then those tend to not last, and you get a parabolic move up, then you get a parabolic move down. I don't think this is a bubble popping in energy, and I actually think we probably are going to make another stab at trying to get to $150, test those all-time highs a little bit later in the summer. But we are in an intermediate decline. So what's happening is all the people that have become convinced that energy can only go up, and they bought here probably into this parabolic move. Now they're stuck holding. And energy is showing all of the signs of being in an intermediate decline. The rally out of this daily cycle low couldn't break that resistance zone at 114, 115 that I've discussed in previous videos. So what has happened is smart money, realizing that we weren't able to hold above that resistance zone. They've used this tag of resistance to sell their long positions. They're trying to limit their losses. That's why oil couldn't get through that again. And so that's probably going to continue. And I think it's going to be a very erratic and choppy move down. These daily cycles tend to run kind of long in energy. They can run 40 days on the short side and as long as 70 or 80 days on the long side. So I'd say probably somewhere into mid to late May, maybe. And so more than likely what's going to happen is every one of these rallies, smart money is going to use that rally to exit more of their long positions and get out of the way as this intermediate decline progresses. So this is going to take a while, but this is a perfect example, another one, of people doing the opposite of what they should do. They should have been buying down here. They should have been thinking about selling here when price stretched too far above the moving average. And then now they're holding, and they're going to hold this all the way down, and then they'll sell down here at the bottom when they can't take the pain anymore, and that's exactly when they should be buying. So there's one market that I think is set up to produce a strong trending move, and that's the precious metals. So let me widen this chart and show you the big picture first. All right, so we got pretty much a textbook cup and handle pattern, and it sure looks to me like we're about ready to break out of that handle. We've tested this all-time high once. You wouldn't really expect it's going to go through it on the first try, so not unusual. But I think we're setting up to make another run at that. It looks to me like this is probably our daily cycle low here. And we've broken above the 10-day moving average. Let me change that. All right, so we've finally closed above that 10-day moving average. And so I think this is a market that has built the fuel for a strong trending move. We've had almost, a year and a half, almost 2 years of just choppy sideways, impossible. It's not impossible to make money, but it's almost impossible to keep it. So you make a little bit and then you get caught at an intermediate top and you give most of it back, or you give it all back. So just the same thing, back and forth, and just really difficult to make any sustained gains. And in the meantime, this creates a massive amount of frustration, and that is the fuel to drive a strong trending move. And I think we are setting up to start that strong or that trending move. We kind of started it here when we broke out of this triangle. I had noted this previously as well. This little triangle consolidation pattern here. We broke out of that, and that gave us our first impulsive move, and then we got some profit taking at the all-time highs, and now we're set up, I think, to make another run at it. So this is the time where you need to try and forget this, pretend like this never happened, and give this the benefit of the doubt, because we've got a market that's just been has gone sideways for a long time. It's created a lot of frustration. We've got a lot of fuel to drive a big move. Now is the time where you want to do the opposite of what you've been doing probably your whole trading career. You want to buy a bottom instead of buying at a top. You don't want to sell the bottom. And so I think now is the time to be buying. I went over this in my last video as well. I kind of focused a little bit more on the mining stocks, but I think gold and silver in particular has been an even more frustrating sideways churn, and so and it's probably the most undervalued commodity in the world. So silver, I think, is really set up to deliver some big moves in the coming months. So now is the time to get on board. Like I said, I'm going to give everybody a chance to get into the premium newsletter early, when you should be at the beginning of a move instead of late at the end of a move. And I'm going to give you a discount to encourage you to come on board and finally do the opposite of what you have probably been doing for most of your trading career, and actually start buying at a bottom this time and hold through that trending move. Don't sell too early. You want to hold through it, and we should have a lot of fuel. We could have a really big trending move here in the months ahead.